Hey guys, how y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic, and welcome back to the channel. And today, for you guys, there's another podcast with Recon Trooper.
Hey there folks, Recon Trooper here, and if you're watching my video, I hope you enjoy the LEGO Marvel gameplay in the background.
Nice. I don't know what I'm going to have. Maybe some Batman, some Battlefront, I don't know, we'll figure it out. But, so I have a lot of topics, but before we get into that, make sure to not only subscribe to the channel to, I can hopefully get to 2,000 soon, but also subscribe to Recon Trooper. I'm going to have a link for his channel description and all that. Channel link in the description, I should say. But, yeah, so I'm excited, and I'm going to be doing my intro. This is the first podcast where I have the new intro, so that'll be cool. But anyway, I have some topics. I guess I'll start because I have a lot. But I recently have been getting into the Middle-earth games again. I know you like Middle-earth games, or just the franchise. And I've completed Shadow of Mordor. And just today, actually, I started Shadow of War. I don't know if you played it, but it's a really good game. I mean, I'm only an hour in, but it basically, every problem I had with Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War ultimately fixed it. But have you played the Shadow of games, or what's your experience with like Middle-earth gaming, like the LEGO games? Are you going to get Gollum, that type of thing?
Well, we talked about Gollum last time, and obviously I don't think I'm going to because of all the
Smart choice.
unappealingness of it. But
yeah, to put it lightly.
I haven't really played any recent games. Not even I think LEGO Lord of the Rings was the last game in terms of when it was released that I played, and I think the last game I played not released, just kind of out of the blue, just decided to heck with it, was Battle for Middle-earth 2, but that was like a year or two ago when I was really wanting to just play it again. So
now, Battle for yeah, it's funny you say that because there's a lot of Lord of the Rings Hobbit style games early, when the trilogies were coming. Mostly Lord of the Rings trilogy was coming out.
Yeah.
Battle for Middle-earth, I believe that's made by the guys that made the original Battlefront games, right? Isn't that kind of
you're talking
I don't want to
about,
say a shooter, but
you're talking about Lord of the Rings Conquest.
Conquest, that's right. Conquest 1 and 2, that's right.
No,
What's the one you're describing?
Battle for Middle-earth 2 is kind of like, I don't know if you've heard of Age of Empires, but
I've heard of it. I haven't played it.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's, those kinds of games where you have two factions on a big map, and you kind of have to just, you have to make your own armies and stuff with what out of it. Like, you start off with just like a main structure, and then you have two workers, or builders as they're called, and then you have to start building up your kind of, your city.
Like your army?
Yeah, your army, your city, whatever. You have to build.
That's cool.
Build some resource buildings, and then you have, of course, a bunch of unit buildings to make. Like, one is for archers and soldiers, and another is for cavalry, on horses.
Oh wow!
And then there's one that is for catapults and trebuchets, depending on which faction you're on, because there's 6 factions in this game, and they each have their own kind of heavy unit, as I'd call it. One is, sometimes they have catapults. The elves, that's one of the factions you can choose, has
that's cool.
Ents. They throw big rocks. And then there's the dwarves. They have kind of a weird looking catapult. It's kind of like,
okay,
it's kind of like these two things on the side that shoot rocks sideways. It doesn't go in a vertical arch. It's kind of more horizontal, or diagonal. It kind of shoots them kind of at an angle, but they shoot at the same time. And
classic dwarves.
It's really, it's hard to describe, and because I can only play it on the 360, I can't record it, so
Oh, well, is it back?
No,
I keep forgetting. Some stupid. You have a Series X, correct?
no, not yet. I have to be
Okay,
desperate
I
for
saw
a
just
game.
an Xbox One.
Yeah, I have to be desperate for a game
Okay.
before I get a Series X. That's why I
Yeah,
got
no, that makes sense.
Lego Star Wars was my desperate moment for an Xbox One. So
Yeah, I mean, shoot,
and then of course
it's a good game.
And then of course all that back pain of waiting for it after I got it, because I was initially thinking of waiting until I got it before I opened my Xbox One, and then it kind of just got bored. This was before all the delays and stuff happened, but I just kind of got bored of having it just sitting there, so I decided, heck with it. And then of course, all the, all the pain of waiting for the darn thing to come out happened.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Although, hey, I got some pretty banger videos out of that delays, but yeah, that was not a fun time. See, it's funny you mention that, because I only have 5 more episodes in my Let's Play for covering the Rise of Skywalker, so there's 5 more levels, and it's crazy. Like, I started recording Lego Star Wars.
Is that?
By the way, we're done with the shit.
You have just Rise of Skywalker left to do then?
Yeah, but I started with the Phantom Menace back in April, when basically when it came out, and it's crazy to think about. I'm just about done, and we still don't know the next Lego game. Like TT Games, they're still quiet. I mean, they're probably working on it, but I just think that's crazy.
Yeah, or they're just doing stuff that they don't want the public to know about right now with their company.
So. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if you heard all those rumors, but I mean, they had like the there was a Lego Batman 4, there was a Lego Disney game.
You talked about
all those are getting canceled.
You talked about the Lego Batman 4 a few podcasts ago. How in real time some guy deleted his tweet just as you were talking about it.
No, that's right. Yeah, I think it was it Steven Sharp or something like that. It was funny.
But yeah, back to the Battle for Middle-earth 2 thing. This game came out before any of the Hobbit movies, so a lot of the locations that are in the Hobbit don't look the same in this game. So, like, Erebor, for instance, imagine, the King's Hall in Edoras, in Two Towers and Return of the King. Imagine that, but in Moria instead.
Jeez.
That's kind of what Erebor looks like in the game.
Wow. Well, yeah, it's funny because I mean, before the Hobbit trilogy, all you really had was I think there was an animated Hobbit movie in like the 90s or something.
And Dol Guldur actually looks more like kind of a cross between Osgiliath and Barad-dûr. Instead of what it looks like in the movies, which is just like this ruined, abandoned fortress. So it's kind of
because Osgiliath is like white, right? It's like white ruins and all that. Yeah. So is it white or is it just like?
Well, I'm just talking about like the kind of the design of the city, not the colors or anything. Just kind of like imagine Osgiliath's like layout, like it's just a bunch of buildings kind of all over the place, but with Barad-dûr's sort of structural building to it, if that makes sense. Kind of like that. It's like somebody decided, Barad-dûr's kind of boring now. Let's make something new out of this material, kind of thing. It's kind of like that. Like I said, it's hard to describe, but it's very different. It's very different, and there are still locations in there like Minas Tirith and Helm's Deep and Minas Morgul.
Ooh.
But some of them are kind of like Minas Tirith. You can only go on the 2 bottom levels, and it's really shrunk down. Like the soldiers are about the size.
Oh, it's an older.
The soldiers are about
it's an older game.
Yeah, but the soldiers are about the size of the trebuchets in the movie. Compared to the city, so like the city is really small still. It looks kind of
it's like a compact version of it.
Yeah, and there's only really 5 levels total that are shown, but you can only go on the 2 bottom ones. And the white tree is kind of not scaled right because it looks like it's because of the size of the city itself. The white tree looks bigger than it should be. So
well, they have that in Disney. They have that. What's it called? The Imagineers do it. I don't know. It's like you see. I think they did it in Fantasyland at Magic Kingdom. It's like you see Beauty and the Beast. You see Belle's castle in the distance, and it's basically a really tiny model on top of a hill. But because it's so far away, it makes it look like it's gigantic. That's kind of how they get away with it.
It's kind of, but overall, it's a fun game.
I can't remember the term.
I mean, it's nice to just once in a while just build an army of whatever. And there's still heroes in it, like when you're playing as Gondor or the men of Middle Earth faction, you get like Gandalf and Aragorn, and then when you play as the elves, you get Legolas and I think Elrond, and they're kind of, you can't just use any hero for any faction; they're specific. Except for Sauron and Galadriel, when you have the One Ring turned on, you have to find Gollum, kill him, and get the One Ring back to one of your fortresses or your main fortress anyway. And
okay, so I assume that's not canon.
No, of course not, because Gollum doesn't die at minus.
You kill Gollum. Yeah, right.
But you get the One Ring, bring it back to one of your main bases, and then you can play as either Galadriel if you're one of the good factions or Sauron if you're one of the bad ones.
Okay.
So, yeah, but I haven't played any of the Shadow games. I haven't played Gollum, of course.
Yeah, I don't plan on doing that one. And you didn't play Lego Hobbit either, right? Because that's only the 2 movies.
Yeah, I mean, I really wouldn't mind getting it if, they had the Battle of the Five Armies DLC, but it just doesn't seem...
Never gonna happen.
It doesn't feel right to just play 2 movies that should be a trilogy. I mean, imagine if they did that with the Lord of the Rings one where they didn't have Return of the King in it.
That would, oh boy.
It would just not feel right playing 2 out of 3 movies. And the third one they just kind of omit for whatever reason. So,
see, I genuinely don't understand. Like, obviously, Lego The Hobbit came out in 2014.
Yeah.
And
that
was the year of
Battle of the Five Armies. I think also came out that year, didn't it? At the end of the year.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. So I don't know why they just didn't wait. It makes no sense. I don't know.
Because, I mean,
it's wonky.
Maybe, like if they wanted to delay it until the extended edition came out, that would be more understandable. Because then thinking, instead of just releasing it, why don't we wait till the extended edition comes out in case there are scenes in there that we want to incorporate, But,
yeah.
Like,
it was probably just
Lego trolls getting their heads cut off by one of those ram chariots.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
I don't know. They'd probably add like ice cream or I don't know something. Yeah, it drives me insane. Look, the game is like it's good. Like it's very well made.
Yeah, I'm not denying.
It's massive. But yeah, you're right. Whenever I play it, because when it came out, they were like, oh, we're gonna add it via DLC soon. Don't worry. And we're in 2023 and bloody nothing. So it's kind of a shame,
But
I think the Shadow games are good. I mean, Shadow of Mordor it's good. It's got the Arkham game combat.
I
so
think I
cool.
saw you playing that one a couple years ago. You were talking about whether you would see the Rings of Power thing before it came out or not, and you were talking about that. And I think that was what you were playing.
I think it was, yeah. And one of my only negatives of Shadow...
It was kind of like this foggy environment, and then you turn into almost looks like a ring wraith. And
yes, exactly. You nailed it. Yeah, you can...
You're drop stabbing orcs all over the place.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's literally Arkham but in Middle Earth. I mean, it's fun. It's really good. But the only issue with Shadow of Mordor is that there's only two hubs. There's Mordor, and then there's I think Nurnin or something like that. So like Mordor is basically poop brown.
Yeah.
And like whenever you're not whenever you're running around, there's no variety. So you're just running around like a gray brown environment. And then the other one is like the woods. It's all green and all that.
Yeah. Was that the foggy one?
I've been playing Shadow of... What's that?
Was that the foggy one? Because that's the one I remember. It was kind of like this foggy environment on top of like a bunch of cliffs and stuff that you're kind of just traversing around. Yeah, so
when you play as Talion, he's a ranger of the Black Gate, and you can have you played the Batman Arkham series?
The first one. That's all.
Okay, so you know how in that one, like, Batman has detective vision where you can, like, highlight enemies and stuff?
I think so. It was a long time
Yeah,
ago,
that's what...
I think so, I remember that.
That's what Talion does, but instead of detective vision, he literally... Celebrimbor, the creator of the Rings of Power, Talion the human is literally haunted by a ring wraith, and that's how you can see different stuff, but... It's fun. It's just my only issue is that the hub worlds are just kind of boring because it's just like the same, like it's the same thing over and over again. But Shadow of War, I've only played it for about an hour or so today. But I think there's like 6 hubs and they're bigger and there's a lot more to it. And I think if you have some extra cash or something, I mean, they're really good. They're not canon, but they are good.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, if you were playing, like LEGO, or if you're playing Dying Light and if you didn't have the Countryside or the Following DLC, it's kind of like if you were just playing Slums and Old Town the whole time for Shadow of Mordor, and then Shadow of War is more like Dying Light 2.
In a sense, yeah. I mean, Dying Light 2 is just one world, but...
It's bigger and more to do.
Yeah, exactly. But, like, see, if you want to compare Shadow of Mordor to Dying Light 1, Dying Light 1 is easily better just in terms of exploration, because the slums in Old Town, they're just friggin' cities.
I'm just saying, like, in terms of the variety of hubs and stuff.
Yeah,
it still feels
they're
the
both
same,
too.
Like... It doesn't matter what different things you do in them, it's still the same locations, like... in the slums, you still eventually can go to that where what's his name, Rice's headquarters is, and just kind of go there. And it's not like anything's changed. It's the same place with the same at least amount of zombies, not necessarily the same ones, but the zombies themselves are kind of the same still, though, because I mean there's always yellow guys, and then they're all bald. That's one thing I noticed.
I know.
And except for the virals, the virals have hair, but they're also really annoying when they just constantly are trying to beat you to death and they're screaming and they're dodging and everything, and you're just kind of sick of them.
That's when I pump out the shotgun.
Yeah, that's me too. When I'm trying to hit somebody, when I'm trying to hit one and he's dodging, and I'm actually trying to wait for him to hit me so I can use my shield, and he's just screaming at me, and I'm just pull out my shotgun and just like, heck with this, bang.
Yeah, like Raiders of the Lost Ark, just shoot him.
Somebody else waste my time, not you.
Yeah, right. But speaking of combat and as I mentioned, the Arkham Shadow combat, this is a quick topic, but what is your favorite out of every video game? What is your favorite combat system in gaming? So like LEGO combat, Arkham combat, Call of Duty, any type of combat. What's your favorite? I know it's tough.
Yeah.
But imagine there's a gun to your head. Which one are you going to pick? Metaphorically.
I can't really decide. So I guess you'll just have to shoot.
All right, well, I'll give you a minute.
You'll just have to shoot. Okay.
Okay. All right. Oh, well, boom.
Because, I mean, the LEGO games have pretty easy to understand controls, especially, once you get the hang of them. And you kind of know, like, especially when you kind of get the hang of the abilities anyway, you kind of know what button to press when, and there's also button prompts. But then there's, first-person games. The controls are actually, they're a little more sophisticated, but at the same time, they feel right once you get the hang of them. And, it's just, like, I don't know.
They're different. But, I think with the LEGO games you mentioned, like, a lot of the people think, oh, LEGO games, they're easy. They are easy, but that doesn't make it bad. You know what I mean? Like,
No.
I've played games that have really, like, in-depth gameplay mechanics, and it's just not as fun. You know what I mean?
Well, LEGO games are the only games that I can actually get all the achievements on. Because...
Yeah, I know, right?
There's only two or three non-LEGO games that I've gotten all the achievements on. One is Force Unleashed 1. Then Fallen
Force
Order.
Unleashed?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about LEGO for a minute. Yeah, I got you.
No, not Force Awakens. I know. It's easy to confuse the two names.
Well, I know. I heard Force, and I was like, wait, what's going on?
But, no, yeah, Force Unleashed 1 and Fallen Order. And there's also a game on 360 that I got a long time ago. This is back when Spider-Man 3 came out. It's called Spider-Man Friend or Foe, and it's kind of like a...
I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's a pretty easy game. It's actually a very easy game, because the combat is very similar to LEGO games, where it's just one button for the most part. Well, it's kind of two buttons, but like one is a punch button, the other is a grab button, and then if you hold the buttons down, you do a special attack or whatever. So, but
well, that's cool.
There's only 12 achievements on that thing, so I got that as well. But
see, my only issue with, or not my issue, but a lot of the LEGO games, or especially the earlier ones, are like, oh, all you do is tap X to punch. But then you move on to like LEGO City, and that LEGO City Undercover basically took the Arkham combat. Yeah. And then you get the Skywalker Saga, and that's like, oh, you got combos and the blaster battles. The camera's zoomed in more. So I think whatever LEGO game comes out next, it better give me that Skywalker Saga camera angle, because for the combat at least, it was insanely cool.
Yeah, I mean, the combat is pretty advanced in LEGO Star Wars, but you still need to press X first to get it going.
Well, that's the thing, is that you get like a kid or a older person, they're just gonna tap X and you're fine. But people like me, I can do XB or XAB or XBA or whatever, and those different combos. It's still gonna. I think one of the reasons why the game even got low scores when it first came out is because, like I just said, you can still just mash X and win. You don't have to do the combos. No. It's really just for show.
Yeah,
but it's cool that it's there.
But. But yeah,
I'm not complaining on that front. But me, I think that LEGO game combat's good. Of course, every FPS is the same. You shoot. Those are good. But the Arkham game, Shadow of War, Mordor, those are really good. Assassin's Creed is good if you've like the first, I believe, 2 or 3 or 4 Assassin's Creed games are the same combat, and then for AC3,
I've never played Assassin's Creed ever.
Oh, you have to.
So it just
they're awesome.
Never been on my radar, I guess.
Well, they gotta. You gotta have the ping.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's true. Well, Assassin's Creed does have some sci-fi elements in it, but obviously it's more historical. But
yeah, Assassin's Creed Space Invasion.
I'd buy that.
There we go.
After Mirage.
Yeah. Have a
laser
sword.
Baghdad.
Have like a laser sword, not like a lightsaber, but it's actually like a sword with an energy blade that's shaped like a katana or something. And then you just.
It's funny you say that, because it's funny,
guys.
Well, in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, there actually is literally what you just described is in the game.
Oh.
I'm not even joking. There's a friggin' laser sword.
Oh, you must have to really do something extravagant to get it, though.
It's called buy it with real money.
Oh, it's one of those?
Yeah.
You don't have to...
It was like $4.
You don't have to earn it by, like, beating the story on the hardest difficulty without dying or something?
No. Okay. Ubisoft don't operate like that, my friend. They want your money.
Okay.
They want your moolah. But yeah, I mean, at least that's in there. But before I move on to my next topic, what is the Marvel topic you described?
Well, I've got multiples, but actually my first topic on my list was Batman. Because you mentioned Batman last time with the Batman and Robin, and I kind of wanted to just talk about it for a different thing. So, but yeah, you said you don't like the Batman and Robin movies, but what movies of Batman do you like before the Dark Knight trilogy?
So before Batman Begins, so before 2005, there was, I think, well, I actually just saw The Flash. My review is out, but Flash is pretty good. Michael Keaton Batman's obviously in it, and Ben Affleck, but Michael Keaton Batman, so Batman 89, that one's good. Obviously I didn't see it in theaters, I wasn't born, but, so obviously, but... it is a good, like, I have it on Blu-ray. It's a good movie. It's a little cheesy. It's obviously dated. It's of its time. Michael Keaton's suit is like made out of friggin' fruit roll-ups. He can't move his neck. Yeah. He's a pretty bad Batman. Like, he just walks into gunfire like an idiot. But it's a fun movie. I don't mind it. I think there's some cheesy elements, but I think it's pretty good. Well, Batman Returns.
If you look at Adam West's Batman from '66, it's probably even worse. Cause
yeah, well,
you can tell
that's a tough one.
The cape is really just a cosmetic thing. He doesn't use it for anything. He just kind of lets it flow in the wind and lets the sheen of it shine on light and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just there to be there. But it's funny you mentioned that because I have the Batman 66 movie, and I have season 1 of the show. And yeah, it's corny, it's stupid, it's silly, it's goofy. But when I was growing up, I thought they were like trying to be serious. Like, I thought, oh man, this must have been really brutal and badass for 1966. But it turns out it's not. No. It's just it was supposed to be a comedy, and I never knew that. I just like found that out.
Yeah, well, so also, it was back then, like digital technology didn't even exist, And
no.
So
I mean,
they did what they could do at the time with what they had, and it's same thing with Michael Keaton and Batman and Robin and all that. It's just they're trying to do things that they could only do at the time, and if they remade them today without putting in the W word stuff in there. They probably would look a whole lot better if they could just like digitally alter certain things in the same movies to make them look better. Like maybe
that'd be neat.
Maybe give Michael Keaton's Batman a slight audio change, just like digital audio change when he is Batman, just kind of to alter his voice, sort of like Christian Bale does.
Yeah, so just like put a bunch of marbles in your mouth?
Because, I think that's the one thing about Christian Bale's Batman is like he tried to make sure he sounded different when he was Batman than when Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
And
that must have hurt his vocal cords.
Yeah, well, I think the first movie when he was working on it, he lost his voice a little bit or something after he was done.
See, I did that too. Like when I first started learning Muscle Man from regular show, I couldn't speak for a week.
Yeah. But the idea, that, because you'd have to be really stupid not to know that it's the same guy behind the mask if he's not changing his voice in any way, like... Yeah. Like,
I mean, I guess that's just
Michael Keaton's
comic book people
Michael
are
Keaton's
dumb.
Batman sounds the same as Bruce Wayne, so how the heck do you not know he's the same guy? Is it just somebody who, you just look at... You're paying more attention to the mask than the voice or what, like Spider-Man.
No, it's that
Spider-Man is
comic
the
book
same
people
way,
are stupid.
But
Exactly. Well, no, I mean, Batman's just obvious. Like, Spider-Man, you don't see his face. Batman, you see his puffy, Botox-looking lips. So it's, like, impossible. Like, you'd have to be a complete idiot. But
Yeah.
I guess back in the older comics, like from the, 70s, 50s, 60s, if you had glasses on, you were just, like, a completely different person. I guess they're just stupid.
Yeah. But, they'd have to make a new Batman that has white eyes, sort of like in the cartoons.
Uh-huh.
So
I love that, man.
Just to make it a little more identity concealing, because if somebody sees the same eyes in the hero than they do in the civilian version, it's like,
yeah,
are you still that?
Well,
dumb?
like, imagine if they did that. Like, for the Batman 2 with Robert Pattinson, imagine if they did that. Like, you just see the white thing. That'd be cool.
Yeah. I saw the Batman once. It was kind of... I wasn't quite sure about it, because I guess I was kind of expecting sort of Batman Begins again, so to speak. But I kind of wasn't expecting him to already be Batman, and he and Jim Gordon are already buddies and all that.
Yeah, I think I think the Batman, I think he's year 2. Batman year 2, that's what they're adapting.
Yeah, so I was kind of just... Yeah, I didn't quite know what to make of it, really, but it was okay.
I think it's the best Batman movie.
I mean, the Riddler is kind of... I mean, he's menacing, but he's not quite the same as you'd expect, because when I think of the Riddler, I think of, like, Jim Carrey or... the guy from the Batman 66 movie.
Yeah.
Or just somebody
well, yeah, I mean, the 66
in the cartoons
one...
even. Just, this guy in this green jumpsuit with a question mark on him, and it has this kind of
well, that wouldn't work in that...
burglar mask on,
Yeah. Yeah, that wouldn't work. I think it's cool that they were like, hey, like, if he was, running around with a Riddler bowler hat with a question mark, in that movie, in the Batman 2021, whatever, it wouldn't work. So I think they were like, hey, let's just make Riddler, like, mentally nuts.
Okay.
And they're like, okay.
Yeah. So. But. Anyway.
And then, so Batman Returns.
Yeah.
So I like 89. Batman Returns I've only seen once. I have it on DVD. I gotta rewatch it. Batman Returns isn't really a Batman movie. It's more of like a villain movie. Penguin is literally the main character.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. I think it's fine. And then Catwoman with Halle Berry? Yeah.
No.
That movie is, I believe, canon to all that. Because there's a scene in the Catwoman movie. I've only seen it once, and I regret seeing it. I bought it for $1.
I haven't seen
at the exchange.
I haven't seen it at all.
Yeah, don't watch it.
Okay.
Never, unless you're completely drunk, which don't do it anyway. But there's a scene in the movie where her name's Patience Phillips or whatever. It's not even friggin' Selena, but there's a scene in the movie where she's looking at newspapers, and you see the Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman and the newspaper.
Oh.
So that confirms that they're in the same universe.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool that it's like, yeah, there's 2 Catwomen. There's one that's just a burglar, Michelle, and then there's the Patience Phillips Halle Berry Catwoman, which literally the point of that is she gets like infused with like cat breath. Like there's literally a scene where a cat like breathes in her mouth and she gets cat powers.
Yeah.
And she like friggin' Spider-Man's up the wall and all that. It's really weird. It's a terrible film, but I guess that's still a Batman movie, I guess. Because they mentioned Bruce Wayne.
Well, just call it a DC movie. Don't call it a Batman one.
Okay, all right. We'll settle on that. And then Batman Returns is trash. Batman Forever is... I will say, though, the Flash movie is great. It's not woke. And I'm not going to ruin it, but there's some crazy cameos in that movie.
You can ruin it for me. I don't care about the Flash at this point. The best Flash, I think, is the one from the TV show a few years ago.
Oh, that just ended too. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I won't spoil it because a lot of people that are listening to this haven't seen the movie because it's making like $0.
You can spoil it at the end a little if you want, because that's when my other 2 topics are also going to be spoiled. So.
Okay.
I want to save spoilers for at the end when we have everything else, and we can just let people walk away if they want to,
Yeah, all right, sounds good.
So, but so yeah, so that's I don't mind. But before we go on to your next topic, I don't actually mind Batman Forever or Batman and Robin. They're kind of what I grew up with before Marvel entered my mind. So, and I was just fascinated with characters with capes, not Superman, but them. And I don't know. I just liked their outfits. I guess I don't know. I was just, of course, I was a kid at the time, so I didn't really understand what the concept of a good movie was. I just cared about the superhero.
I still don't know what that word means.
Which one?
Good film.
Oh.
According to a lot of people, they're like, your taste in movies is garbage. I'm like, whatever.
Well.
You do what you can, I guess. But yeah, so
who cares
no,
what they
I think.
think?
Yeah, right. That's exactly. So to answer your question in a very simple manner, Michael Keaton Batman '89 is the best, in my opinion, before Batman Begins.
Oh yeah.
Once we get to Batman Begins, I would say it would be the Batman, the newest one, and then maybe the Dark Knight Rises, Batman Begins. Does Batman vs. Superman count as a Batman movie, or is that more of a Superman 2 thing?
I don't know. Only saw it once, and that was on TV. Because I wanted to see kind of what happened after Man of Steel. Because I have that movie, but I don't have any of the others. I kind of didn't have much interest getting them. But
okay,
I don't mind Man of Steel. It's actually a pretty interesting one.
Yeah, I think it's good. I mean, that was the first one that kickstarted the whole DCEU, but the Flash movie that's out now was essentially the end of the DCEU, and of course James Gunn is rebooting with the DCU, so they're just taking out the E.
Apparently
Apparently
Superman was gonna cameo or something in that one, and because James Gunn's reset of everything, Henry Cavill's cameo got taken out or something.
Yeah, James Gunn is a great director, but he's a stupid person.
Well, maybe, because,
I mean,
the Guardians films aren't woke in any way. I mean, they did do the gender swap with Cosmo, but apparently that was for a personal reason for James Gunn. It wasn't because Marvel or Disney wanted it. It was because of some personal reason for James Gunn that he wanted Cosmo to be a female dog instead. But we'll get to that.
I mean, I don't really
down the road.
I don't really care either way. I mean, it's a dog, but
No.
that's interesting.
But so.
You think that you know what? I bet you $50 there's some guy in his basement throwing a hissy fit that they changed the gender of a talking dog. I swear to God.
They did do that.
There's someone in this earth.
A lot of people were kind of complaining about it when it was announced, but
wow.
Part of the reason I
understand a human, but
one of the reasons I initially wasn't gonna go see, just because I'm really getting tired of the gender swapping. Because Taskmaster is the worst.
Yeah, that sucks. You know, there's this trend in Hollywood that every time, besides Kylo Ren, every time there's someone that's cool and masculine looking and he's wearing a mask, every time it's a woman. And I get it. It's like, it's like, ooh, wow, it's a girl. But it's like showing a toddler I don't know, playing peekaboo with a kid. Eventually the kid's going to get bored because he knows it's you. It's like that. It's like, wow, the first time I saw that, I was like, oh, wow, it's a woman under there?
50 years later.
I think it was Solo.
50 years later, your mom is still playing peekaboo with you, franchise, and you're just like, are you done yet, Mom?
Yeah, look, Mom, I got to record a video, just whatever.
Yeah, peekaboo to you, Mom. I love you too.
Yeah, right.
Later.
Yeah, but no, Solo was the first one where I was like, "Wow, Enfys Nest is a girl and a hot girl, wow!" And then Black Widow comes out, and I'm like, "Oh, that sucks."
Like the film itself, I don't mind. Like I said, I watched it today, partly because I'm doing a marathon, and I watch it right after Civil War because it actually takes place in Civil War, just after she walks away after her little bicker with Tony after their big
Right,
fight.
right.
And it takes place between that point and when Rogers breaks everybody out at the end. And that's that's why I watch it right after Civil War. And then Black Panther takes place a week after Civil War. And then Spider-Man takes place 3 months after. And then I just kind of watch Doctor Strange after that because the post-credit scene leads into Thor Ragnarok. And then Thor Ragnarok's... Thor Ragnarok's credit scene does lead into Infinity War, but now I watch Ant-Man and the Wasp before Infinity War because I figure that scene where they vanish, if I pretend that I didn't see Infinity War yet, then it just leaves a mystery. Like maybe the reason they disappear is because something Scott just did in the quantum realm and they just got ashed.
Okay, all right, I see it.
And then when I watch Infinity War, then I'm like, oh, that's what happened to them.
Yeah.
It was Thanos that killed them, not Scott messing around with the quantum realm.
Yeah, you have to suspend your disbelief a bit. Well, I'm watching it in terms of release order. You're watching it in... It's a crazy order, but it's a good order because I've never thought about it like that. It's kind of cool.
Well, I did used to watch it in release order in terms of those two movies. With Infinity War right after Ragnarok, because it does technically take place right after Ragnarok. But then again, I figured, I kind of want to try to be more... I want it to be more mysterious at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp, and knowing that it's because of Thanos already is kind of like... It ruins the mystery a little bit if you just...
Right.
Haven't
sort of like
seen
the
Infinity
shock.
War. Yeah, like it just, and then it kind of is weird because you're watching Infinity War after this, and then you go back to what happened with Thor, but it's Infinity War answers both questions of the movies, and answers what happens right after Thor and what happened ultimately at the end with Ant-Man's friends and lover. So. But that's how I watch it. That's how I watch it now. And then I watch Captain Marvel because the post-credit scene leads into Endgame. And then Endgame.
Right.
And then, of course, I just I do the Spider-Man movies, the last two. And once Guardians comes out, I'll put it in my list. And then that's kind of how I do it now. So.
What about Shang-Chi?
I don't mind it. It's a pretty decent one, but I honestly haven't added Shang-Chi or Multiverse of Madness to my marathon. It just kind of... I don't know. Guardians is kind of the end of this team of Guardians, like, as we know it. That's why I'd add it. But Shang-Chi, there's nothing really tying it into the movies before, except for Captain Marvel
it's like
and
a brand
Bruce
new thing.
Banner at the end. And then Doctor Strange kind of, it references Spider-Man, like what happened in No Way Home, but they don't, there's not, like the post-credit scene in that movie, has nothing to do, as far as we know yet, with what's going to happen down the road. And frankly, I don't really care with what's going to happen down the road, because I just got it because I had this dream one night that I was watching it, especially that scene when he makes the buzzsaw out of his magic when he's fighting Shuma Gorath. Yes, I'm calling him that. I don't care.
It's actually Gargantuan.
Yeah, well, you call it whatever you want, Marvel, okay?
Yeah, I call it Squidward.
But yeah, I had a dream about that shot, and then I just kind of like, heck with it. Might as well get it and see what it's like, So.
Yeah, I mean, I think Multiverse of Madness is one of the better ones.
Yeah.
In phase. I mean, I think it's top tier MCU, honestly. Like Sam Raimi did a freaking good job, but.
Yeah, that's how I watch it, and in my marathons, and I try to watch several movies a day, just so I can end the marathon sooner. So,
well, hey, I've got a lot more than you. I've got all the shows. I've got
Yeah,
Phase 4. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you're omitting from that, and I don't mind.
watching phases 1 to 3 with a few phase 4, but that's all.
Yeah. Well, like even because I've only seen Miss Marvel and She-Hulk, those shows. I've only seen them once. I hated them, but I'm gonna force myself to rewatch them, and maybe I'll like them. I don't know. I mean, I'll review them eventually. That's way down the line, but
I'm not gonna watch Thor: Love and Thunder just to see what happens with Thor and the Guardians, because apparently James Gunn wasn't gonna have Thor in his movie, and he was thankful that Taika did this movie with Thor so that he could find a way to get him away from the Guardians. But honestly, I don't care. I mean, there's lots of things we don't see happen with between movies or within movies that somehow happens. Like Thanos getting not the Mind Stone, the Power Stone and the Reality Stone. We never see him do that, but he does it somehow. We see him with them, and so we don't have to see how everything happens just to know that it happened. And so it's like that with
Star
Thor.
Wars.
With Thor, I don't have to know why he's not with them. I just need to know that he's not with them anymore. As long as it's
Love and
after
Thunder.
That. As long as it's after.
Yeah, well, Love and Thunder takes place before Guardians Volume 3.
Yeah.
And you find out.
Yeah. So
it's like the first 10-15 minutes of the movie. He leaves them.
Yeah, because Sif gives a call to him or something. So.
Well, yeah,
I spoiled myself a little bit about it just because I wanted to know what happened with him and the Guardians, and apparently he gets called away by Sif, and that's how he leaves the Guardians. So,
from what I remember, I've only seen it once. I'm not a big fan of it for many reasons. I don't hate it, but it's definitely the worst Thor movie. Once I do my rewatch,
I have to disagree with you on Ragnarok too. I don't mind the film. Like, it's the humor actually kind of works because you see that whole, especially the dynamic between Loki and Thor, and how Thor kind of is finally kind of using Loki's tricks against him, so to speak.
Yeah.
Like Loki tries to trick him in that scene when they're trying to escape in the ship, and little does he realize that Thor planted one of those obedience discs on him, and just much to Loki's displeasure.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because I kind of, after watching Love and Thunder, there's a scene in that movie where they explain why Thor is jokey, which without an explanation, I don't like it. But they actually, like, it's a quick scene, but in montage form, they actually show you why he's doing it. And it's, without spoiling it, it's common sense. It's just because he's hanging out with Jane more.
Well, there's nothing wrong with spoiling it. The movie's been on DVD and Blu-ray for a while now, and I don't care. So
okay, well, that's perfect. Basically, it's a montage where him and Jane are hanging out, and because when you look at Thor 1 versus 4, I mean, it's like a totally different friggin' character. Like, it's night and day. It's because in Thor 1, he's only on Asgard, and everyone on Asgard is kind of a buzzkill. In Earth, a lot of the people, they're more human than Asgardians, so obviously we're more comedic. And I think it's I'm still not 100% on it, but I can accept it works for me that he's hung out with Jane. Jane's obviously a human, and it works. I think it works.
Yeah. So, but part of the reason he's jokey in Ragnarok is because the actor wanted to do more with the character, and he wanted to be more comedic. Because apparently Chris Hemsworth in person is actually a pretty funny person. I don't know if you watch bonus features on movies or anything, but
sometimes I do.
Yeah, but sometimes it'll show just these behind the scenes things that he's doing with other actors, and sometimes they're funny. Like on Age of Ultron, it shows him trying to pull Chris Evans and Scarlett Johansson behind him, and he's kind of having a tough time doing it, but it's all fun and games, So, but So anyway,
I think it can work.
yeah.
I mean, I just didn't like that it was like, oh, I'm serious Thor, and then all of a sudden, oh, I'm funny now. But
Yeah.
Well,
you
I
don't
just
want it
felt
to be
like
just serious the whole time.
the transition wasn't there. It was just one moment he's stupid or serious, and one moment he's an idiot. Like there's no actual transition.
Well, in a way, you still sort of see it because I mean, in what is it in Avengers: Age of Ultron, he sort of is kind of being a little jokey, especially towards the end once Vision's lifted the hammer and he's trying to distract Ultron, and he's like, "I am Thor, son of Odin. As long as there is life in my breast, I am running out of things to say. Are you ready?" And then bang, and so it's fair to say he's been on Earth for quite a bit, even up to that point, and so he's still like his turning into more of a goofy person. Goofy.
Yeah, I mean he cracked jokes for one. It's just that I don't know. Maybe it's me. I know the internet loves stupid Thor, but maybe I'm the weird one.
So, well, I'll let you do another topic. I've got another one I just thought of now, but I'll let you choose one now.
Well, we're pushing on an hour, so
yeah, I know.
Do you want to do the one you want to do?
Well, it doesn't have to be an hour. It can be a little longer if you want.
Okay.
Just at least an hour is all I was saying. At least an hour. Less than 2 hours though. But
oh, for sure. Yeah, I can't do more than an hour and probably 15 because no one will watch it.
Well, I would
because we can always do more. But all right, so let me look here. Okay, I got one. So out of all the Lego games, what is the best character roster? So, like, you hold the Y button, a bunch of character icons show up. What's the best? I know it's a tough one.
I think Lego Star Wars, just because it has the biggest one.
Skywalker Saga, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. That's fair.
I mean, there's all sorts of games that have good rosters, like all the Lego Marvel ones you see, like, they're crazy, but
I know. Well, the Lego Marvel ones got me into half the Marvel characters. Like, I had no idea who the heck Howard the Duck was until I played that,
Well, some characters I had no idea who were either until I heard of the movies, actually. Like, I never heard of the Guardians of the Galaxy until, the movie was announced.
Uh-huh.
So...
I know. For sure. I was like, who the heck are these guys?
In the first Marvel game, they look nothing like the movie. And then the second one, that's the only thing they look like.
Yeah, right. Well, it's funny because once an MCU movie comes out, they kind of change the comic books based on the movie, which is, I think, kind of cool.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's kind of interesting, too, to see just the difference between the classic and the MCU versions, because you see that with Ant-Man, at least in Marvel 2, where you have both the MCU version and the classic one, and they're clearly different.
Yeah, very clearly.
So, but yeah, that's actually one of my topics. Lego Marvel, just the games. Which of them is your favorite of the three?
Ooh. See, Lego Marvel 1 got me into Marvel as like a franchise, but I think Lego Marvel's Avengers has better graphics, better controls, especially for the flying. I like using the right stick to control the pitch instead of the A and B buttons.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I think... And then Lego Marvel 2 is good, because it's not just New York for the third friggin' time.
No, it's 3 New Yorks.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Well,
at least
three parts of New York's.
Right. Yeah. So that's tough. Maybe I don't know.
It
Lego
can be a
Marvel 2
tie
has
if
like
you
a weird
want.
graphics engine. Just looks kind of weird. So I'd probably have to say my favorite might be Lego Marvel 1, but the best is probably Marvel 2.
Yeah, well, it's the newest, of course. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'd say it would be a tie for me because Lego Marvel 1, it's the first one, and a lot of the characters are actually pretty good. I mean, they maybe
Mhm.
recycle the same animations, but I like using, Hulk and Abomination on, Red Hulk and Curse.
Yeah.
And I like there's, of course, characters that are only in that game, the X-Men and Fantastic Four.
That's right. That is right.
Lego Marvel 2 has got additional hubs in it, as well as Manhattan.
Dude, speaking of the X-Men though, I remember when Lego Marvel 2 and they were like Arthur Parsons or whatever was like, yeah, there's no X-Men and Fantastic Four because like remember during that time in 2017 they were still working on the rights, so they legally couldn't have them. But I don't think Arthur Parsons said that,
I don't
and
know
everyone
if that's
freaked out.
I don't entirely know if that's the reason because they only have the movie rights. They don't have the video game rights. Marvel owns.
Well, then
the
why would
video
you not
game.
add them?
I think maybe they didn't want Fox to take credit or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
But,
I don't know. It just seems like a no-brainer. Like, why would you not add Wolverine and Deadpool and whoever?
Yeah, and the Thing again.
It doesn't hinder the game. It's still a great roster.
But there's still characters like the Thing I'd love to play as again. Juggernaut I'd like to play as again.
Mm-hmm.
The big figs. And there's some X-Men characters like Cyclops and Iceman that have, those particular powers and abilities. So, but
yeah.
But yeah, Lego Lego Avengers has multiple hubs in it, so I like it for that, as well as characters that aren't in the first one. Like there's Wendigo. There's also.
Oh yeah.
Who else was there? There was
I don't know.
I don't remember. But
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, but and then Lego Marvel 3 Lego Marvel 2, the
I wish.
superheroes. Yeah, it's the third one. Okay. It's the third Lego Marvel game. Okay, it's just not direct sequel to Avengers.
Yeah,
but
makes sense.
Yeah, I like that one because I mean I do think the hub is still pretty decent. I mean it's a shame you can't explore Asgard in the same way you could in Avengers, because all you can do is just be at the front of the thing by the Bifrost, and that's it.
Walls, I mean, I like them, and I'm glad they're there.
Yeah.
But if I'm digging for negatives, that would have to be one of them.
But yeah, there's also
that's just me.
Also other places though are in there like Xandar and Hala and Atalan, and Nowhere.
Yeah. Oh, you have no idea how awesome it is in Lego Marvel 2 to fly from Chronopolis all the way to Atlan, just out, or like you see Nowhere, like the giant skull.
Yeah.
Like that stuff is cool. You go down to Lemuria in the water. I mean that open world is. I mean it's like just non-Lego, just in general. It's one of the best open world superhero games ever made.
Yeah. And
like it's genuinely awesome.
I actually don't mind Nueva York. It's actually pretty decent.
Yeah, Nueva York. Yeah, I like that one. That's when Spider-Man 2099 is from.
Yeah. Well,
which coincidentally is in the new Spider-Man movie. Yeah, right. I play Spider-Man 2099 in the new project Echo Killshot and I are working on. I voice Miguel, so yeah, I'll have to.
Was that?
They should have got me for.
What was it again?
Lego Marvel.
Spider-Man. Fractured Fate.
Fractured Fate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know if you saw on your channel, your Discord server, but I posted a photo, and I got 100% on all 3 games now.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah. So, and
How long did that take you?
Well, I posted the achievements, and I also posted the dates as to when I got the last one. So, but
Probably took a while.
yeah, well, just over a week for between LEGO Marvel 2 and Avengers. I did Avengers first, and then LEGO Marvel 2. But LEGO Marvel 1 I completed back in August of last year, before we did our first podcast.
Wow.
So, and I didn't touch these 2 things yet before that. So, I kind of just decided ultimately to do it finally. They've been sitting on my Xbox hard drive for so long. I just decided, I think it's time I got these darn things done.
Yeah, I know. I hate that. The backlog eventually gets so bloody extensive. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, but the achievements were a real hard pain on that game, on those games, because sometimes they didn't unlock when they were supposed to, and so I got a couple of levels that with the achievements for that I unlocked after levels that unlock after them instead. So, in other words, like one level that comes before another one, I got the achievement for that level after that other one instead. Because
Figures.
For some dumb reason it didn't want to unlock, and then he saw me message you when I was working on LEGO Marvel 2 at the time still. You saw me message you on Xbox Live about the achievements, being messed with and stuff, and telling you to check them.
Yeah, So what, did you ever fix like, what happened with that?
It wasn't me. It was just the people behind it, whoever it was that were meddling with it. They finally got it to work. I don't know what the heck was going on. A lot of people were going through it. It wasn't just me. A lot of people.
That's true. Maybe I was going through it too. I didn't notice, but.
Well, I couldn't compare games with you for some reason, because it kept saying this person hasn't played any games yet, and I'm like, what are you talking about? This is Franchise Fanatic. Of course he played games already. Stupid thing.
What are you nuts?
Yeah. You think he's just gonna scrub all of his data off his profile just to? And yet you were playing, I think it was Assassin's Creed Remastered or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, how could he not be playing? How could he not have any games that he's played if he's playing this one right now? And it's just, I don't know. It was, but I got them finally. I got all the achievements. So if it does that again, I'll just be like, well, I don't have to worry.
Yeah, right. You're all good. You did it.
Yeah, but I like too that in LEGO Marvel 2, some of the big figs have been changed. Like Venom can web swing, In LEGO Marvel 1,
right.
He can't in big form. And actually, the way I have my gameplay edited for this podcast, it's gonna transition between the 3 games. And I made sure to play as the same 2 characters in the next game that I was in the previous one. So some of them will be the same character but look different, because so I made sure
that's cool. So it's you're like linking them together. I like it.
Yeah. So if you watch it, you'll see it kind of feels seamless almost, because I've got Thanos from Avengers, and then at the start of LEGO Marvel 1, I'm a Thanos from that game, and he looks very different, but
he definitely does.
So, And then there's Venom, like I was saying, and I do the same thing with that. So.
Or what about like Carnum from Lego Marvel 2?
I didn't play as him. I was more focused on just getting some gameplay recorded and trying to be the characters at the start of one game that I finished recording in the previous one. So
Okay.
And then just kind of changing between a few other characters. Like I wasn't trying to record a whole hours-long thing of changing characters, but no, I didn't choose.
Makes sense.
I didn't choose Carnum, but I chose a fair number of guys. So there's still a pretty good variety throughout. With all of them combined.
Oh no, definitely. There's a lot. There's a lot. But I think Carnum's cool because Carnum is TT Games actually made him like it's like basically a new canon Marvel character, which I think is really cool. And there's like that cool boss fight. So there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
That guy.
Carnum is based on Toxin, apparently. And I don't know why they didn't put Toxin in there, but maybe it was a name issue that they just had or something. Or maybe they wanted inspiration from that, but wanted to make a new character altogether. I don't know. But he's still
whatever the reason is,
decent.
I think Carnum's cool.
Yeah. Kind of got the spiky back to him.
Yeah, and he's red. He's all speaking of Venom and all that, Lego Marvel 1, they had when I played that back in 2013, I swear to God, I almost pooped my pants. I might have actually pooped my pants because there's that scene in level 3.
Yeah, you were talking
where
about
Venom,
the laboratory.
Yeah, that jump scare. Oh my God! People say Arkham Knight, like the Man-Bat jump scare, was crazy, dude. Because look, when you play a Lego game, you're not expecting a horror movie jump scare. Like that's just not going to happen, and it happened.
Yeah.
And that was not good.
I wasn't afraid. I just kind of. But then again, I'm older than you, I guess. So maybe my fear factor isn't as sensitive anymore.
Well, yeah, I don't know how old I was in 2013, but plus I had the sound bar and it was dark out, so cut me some slack.
Okay. How much would you like? A quarter or 2/3?
I think a quarter's fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
But yeah, that's what I did this month. Did LEGO Avengers and Marvel 2, so they're done now. They're in my all achievements unlocked group that I made on my Xbox. So.
That's awesome. Now, what game are you working on now? Just like without achievements, working on it.
Not really working on any and just playing around now. I was playing Dead
cool.
Island 2 a couple of days ago because some new DLC came out for it.
Those were weapons, correct?
Well, weapons and character costumes, apparently.
Oh, the skins. Okay. Are we getting any more like Hub World DLC?
Well,
like new environments?
We're supposed to be Q4 of this year.
Oh, sweet. Okay. Dude, Dead Island 2 is such a good game. I still think Dying Light 2 is the best, but Dead Island 2 is awesome. Like, the hub worlds are smaller compared to some other games I've been playing, but the detail in those hubs, like the mansions, it's insane.
Yeah. It's pretty good. And I hope...
Because you played... Who did you play as again?
I did Ryan and then Jacob.
Jacob was first, or was Ryan first?
No, Ryan.
Okay.
I did Ryan first and then Jacob because I wanted to see what the rest of his story was going to be like after the trailer.
I know. Well, Jacob was like the marketing guy. He was on the cover. He's like the main,
He's the mascot of the game.
Uh-huh.
So,
which is cool. I mean, I only played as one. I just played as Jacob, but yeah. I think it's cool. I mean, sometimes he gets kind of annoying. He keeps effing talking like, he narrates everything, but sometimes he's funny.
They stop talking pretty much once the story is done. I mean, they'll say a few things once in a while.
That's true.
Sometimes when you pick up a weapon that's just laying there, like in the tower on Venice Beach, if you pick up the machine pistol or whatever it's called. He'll say,
Mhm.
"Hello, gorgeous," or something. But
Yeah.
he doesn't really talk a whole lot now.
At least, yeah, right. At least after the story. Yeah, good point.
But I'm sure that'll change once the DLC missions and hubs come out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right. Because when you get more content, it'll, yeah.
But but anyway,
Is a good point.
yeah. So
what's another topic you got? I'm ready. I'm ready to rock and roll here.
okay. Well, this will probably be our last because we're kind of running out of time here. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So if anybody hasn't seen it yet, stop watching up to now because spoilers are coming. So
Oh, boy.
be warned and listen at your own peril if you so desire.
Yes.
So
I guess this is where we say, hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you guys. We'll see you in the next video if you haven't seen it. Because this is like the spoiler thing, like Recon said. But thank you guys for watching, by the way. If you made it the whole time, whether you watched or listened, I appreciate it. Subscribe, like, all that to both of us. But anyway, go ahead. What were you saying?
Yeah, and later, folks who have not seen Guardians Volume 3. But, yeah, so I took my parents to see it a couple weeks ago because I wanted to see it for Father's Day, but it wasn't going to be in theaters after the Wednesday before, so we decided to do it the Monday before Father's Day, and yeah, it's a pretty decent film, I say. I mean, definitely.
I think it's the best Guardians movie.
Definitely touching, you know.
It was awesome. I loved every second of it. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. I was expecting it to be great, and it was.
My only kind of not so appealing feeling to it really is when everybody's yelling at each other almost all the time. Like, especially when it comes to Nebula, like, every time somebody's talking to her, it always turns into this shouting match, and it's kind of like, would you stop yelling already, you know?
Yeah, I know.
Like, she never yells in Endgame. At least the future Nebula doesn't. The old one, you know, the one from the past sort of yells, but she never yells in Endgame. She's always got a nice voice when she's talking to the other Avengers. But in this one, she seems
I guess
to
that's
always,
like a director choice.
Yeah, or maybe just because, there's no Guardians to yell at anymore, I guess.
That's true.
I don't know. But
that's probably the best reason.
But, yeah, it was pretty good, definitely. My dad said he got sad when he was watching that scene with the raccoons.
Oh yeah, I teared up like 4 different friggin' times.
Yeah.
Like, jeez.
I actually, I don't mind. There's a few villains that are just outright evil that I actually don't mind, and the High Evolutionary is certainly one of them now.
I think the High Evolutionary beats the pants off of Kang from Quantumania.
Oh, well, I haven't seen that one. That was actually the other one I wanted to talk about, just because you mentioned Darren Cross in your Ant-Man review, and I kind of wanted you to spoil me about it because you weren't going to do it in that one. But
okay,
we'll have to.
Yeah,
unless you
I get to spoil someone.
Unless you want to briefly spoil me now.
I'm shoot, yeah.
Okay. So,
there's not many times I get to spoil people and they don't get mad at me.
Yeah, well, they also.
So I am down.
Not too many people care anymore about Marvel either, like me.
I know, it's a shame.
I said that.
I still do.
Not too
barely,
many,
but
not too many people don't care about Marvel anymore.
Right.
That's what I meant.
Okay, now we got that.
I mean, there's lots that care about it, yeah, but
yeah,
I don't care as much.
Yeah,
about
it's definitely
anymore.
weird, but
anyway.
So Yeah, about it. Also, if you guys are like, oh, I saw Guardians of the Galaxy 3. If you haven't seen Quantumania, this is your spoiler warning. I mean, it's common sense, kind
It's
of.
on
But,
Blu-ray and
so
DVD now, so if you haven't seen it, then that's your problem.
yeah. Oh, I gotta get that on Blu-ray. Shoot. Anyway, yeah. So in Ant-Man 1, we
Yeah.
get a scene where Ant-Man and Yellow Jacket are kind of fighting, and we presume that Yellow Jacket dies, right? He kind of shrinks really, really, really tiny.
Yeah,
and
starting
he just
with
kind
his
of
limbs.
Yeah, he just kind of fizzles off into nothing. But in Quantumania, it turns out that MODOK is
him.
Darren Cross, and
Yeah.
he went so tiny that Kang was able to manipulate his, molecular structure and just screw with him completely. And all you see of him now is this face, and he kind of loses his mind. If you remember Darren from the Ant-Man 1. He's not an idiot. Like he's kind of cocky, but he's not stupid. He's supposed to be a smart person. And then in this one, I think they were like, oh, because the writing of Quantumania is just not really there. They just turned him into an idiot. I guess they explained it by like, oh, Kang screwed with his mind.
Having a bigger
but
head
MODOK
didn't make him smarter.
No, you'd think it would. Yeah, you'd think it would. He just makes
Isn't
dick
that the
jokes the
leader's
entire
job?
time. Well, I think we're getting the leader again, but regardless of that,
Yeah.
he is MODOK, which I think works. It's good. The CGI of MODOK is complete trash.
Yeah, I think I saw.
It's
God
god-awful.
some pictures of him, and he just kind of looks like an avatar from the Xbox.
Yeah, it's no good. Now the design of MODOK is good, right? Because that's how he's supposed to look. He's a giant friggin' face with baby arms and baby legs. That's the point. So when I say the CGI is bad, I don't mean that.
And
I
a
mean that like
chair.
whenever. Right, yeah, exactly. But whenever he talks in the movie, like whenever his mouth moves,
Yeah.
maybe it's the glasses. I've seen so much CGI. Obviously, I'm not alone in this, but I can tell when something's good and when something's bad. This guy wasn't good. Every time he talked, I literally groaned. It was cringe-inducing. And that obviously goes into Thor: Love and Thunder too. It's just the MCU CGI guys getting overworked and underpaid.
Was his voice easy to hear, or was it just the way the CGI made his mouth move?
Yeah, well, when he has the mask on, it's a little muffled, but it's obviously you can hear me. It's meant to be more intimidating, but you'd be surprised. A lot of that movie, his mask is off, and you see that god awful CGI. No, you can definitely tell it's him.
Yeah.
Once he starts talking, you're like, oh man, that's Darren, which is cool. I don't mind that change, because in the comics, MODOK is not Darren Cross.
No, he's just. I don't know what his real name is in the comics. Everybody just calls him MODOK.
No.
And his girlfriend,
I think you're right.
Modam.
Modam, yeah. Modetta. But like, you look at Artem Zola from The Winter Soldier, that movie is very much not a comedy.
No.
So, if they did Artem Zola like how it was in the comics, and it's just a 1950s TV box, that would have been completely...
And then his face is
that would have been asinine, right? It would have been stupid.
With a yellow lens on it.
Exactly. So that makes sense. And Quantumania isn't straight up a comedy, but it's more, and it's an Ant-Man movie. It's supposed to be kind of funny. So that, for them to take that more seriously, that works.
Yeah.
It's my opinion.
Huh. Interesting.
It's good stuff. I mean, I don't hate Quantumania. I think even like Miss Marvel and She-Hulk, even the worst of the MCU has something good about it. The internet will tell you that it's all dog cheeks and it's burn it all, but it ain't good.
Yeah.
But there's one or two things that I like about it.
I don't want to, I just don't want to disappoint myself if I see something. And
yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I think it's worth seeing them at least once, just so that you can say I seen it. You might like it. Who knows?
Yeah. Well,
like you got to watch Moon Knight. Moon Knight's amazing.
Well, Disney Plus is required, and I'm not gonna get Disney Plus.
Well, you can either get a free trial and binge it, or you can get the DVD on Etsy or eCreator for like $20.
Yeah, Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, man. Moon Knight is like top tier MCU, at least to me. Like, it was genuinely awesome.
Yeah.
I was worried.
Does he do everything he does in Lego Marvel?
Well, let's see. He's got the moon blades or whatever, the crescent shaped things. He's got the glider. I think so, yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's a good effing show, man. Like, honestly,
Oscar Isaac is pretty decent as the character.
Oh yeah, I mean, him as Poe Dameron. There's only so much you can do with Poe.
Yeah.
Moon Knight. The whole thing is that the guy, I don't remember his name. Darn it, what's his name? Anyway, he has multiple personality disorder. And, there's a lot of different stuff you can do with that as a character. And I won't spoil it because you really gotta watch it for yourself, man. It's a classic. So whatever you gotta do one day, if you have some free cash, I would go on Etsy or eCreator and see what you can dig up.
Yeah. Well, maybe someday.
Yeah, I mean, that goes with Loki,
but,
Falcon Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Hawkeye, they're pretty good.
So, but yeah, back to the Guardians thing. Yeah, the High Evolutionary is definitely one of the villains I actually like that is evil, because when you see him, you just want him to be beaten to death so badly.
Yeah, he's got a punchable face.
Like, he's such a, he's one of
and
those,
when they said
he's one of those villains you love to hate because he nailed the part.
Yeah. I mean, I love when Star-Lord is like, "Oh, it's not a trap, it's a face-off," and then Gamora literally rips his friggin' face off.
Yeah,
like that was crazy. That was like Evil Dead right there. I was like, "Oh shit, they're doing it!" It's crazy. And it's also the first F word in an MCU movie, which is crazy.
You mean the non?
I mean, I don't know why. It's funny, like
censored F word.
Yeah. Oh, right. Exactly. It's funny, like someone's.
I think Senator Stern in Iron Man 2 says it, but it's bleeped out when he says it.
That's right. Yep, they cut away or something. Yeah.
And then Samuel L. Jackson's about to say it before he gets dusted, and then he gets
exactly. Yeah,
and then mid word.
Aunt May does it. She goes, "What the fuck?" And then they go, they play the credits. Yeah. It's funny. You wouldn't think saying the word, the F word is like this major thing, but I don't know.
Well,
I mean,
I guess they're trying to normalize it now too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Deadpool 3 is going to be the first R-rated MCU movie, and there's going to be, you can get away with a lot of F words in an R-rated movie, like 100. So I don't think there's going to be that many, but. We'll have to see how that goes. But anyway, my PC is at 3%, and I'm nowhere near an outlet. But
okay.
I gotta go. But I had a great time, man. I can't wait to do more of these. There's a lot of topics I want to discuss.
Yeah, we'll have to continue the Guardians 3 one next time, because there's more.
Yeah, for sure.
More we can talk about it, because we just got started, and I know we spent a lot of time talking about Batman and other stuff, but.
Mm-hmm. But I had fun. I mean, that's the beauty of the podcast, right? There's always more stuff to talk about.
So I'll be sure to watch yours when you post it. So
yeah, I'll probably edit it maybe tonight or tomorrow, something like that.
Well, I got the gameplay ready. I just need the audio, and then I can share it or whatever the thing is called, render it. So
right.
And then
sounds good. But hopefully, you guys enjoyed. What are we? Oh my god. 423. If you guys stuck the whole thing, I'm proud of you. Leave a comment saying you did. If you didn't, I understand. I can only listen to podcasts for so long, but I think we had some good topics. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And so again, subscribe to myself, subscribe to Recon if you want to, and I had a lot of fun, dude.
Yeah, certainly. I have to do one after Indiana Jones now, hey?
Yes, I'm seeing that on the 30th, so sometime after that. I don't know when you're seeing it, but
I'm probably gonna
whenever
see
we
it,
both see
I'll
it.
probably see it at least 2 weeks later, just so the crowd's a little easier to get through.
Yeah, I'm normally like that too. Not as bad as not 2 weeks like you, just a few days. But Indiana Jones, man, it's the last one, and I really don't want to go on Reddit or Twitter and see some dumbass be like, he dies, So I would hate myself for that. So I cannot get spoiled. Like, I'm going caveman on the 30th. I'm not even going on Twitter.
He does die. I go into the movie and kill him and be like, "Ha! Indiana Jones is dead, man." Sorry.
I hate you.
Yeah, I know. But you hate your enemies. You love your enemies. You hate your friends, right?
Yeah, you got it.
Such as
nailed that one.
Such is life.
Exactly. But, all right, I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll have another one soon after Dial of Destiny comes out.
Yep.
And, yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys in the next video.
Later, folks.